Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well, and I'm here to present my paper on next generation cross-linking calculator for titration of energy in thin keratogenic corneas. I have no financial disclosures. So previously described by our published work, the management of keratoconus less than 450 microns, we can either do an epi on cross-linking or in intracorneal ring segments. For adverse disease with scarring, keratoplasty is often required. So what about the diseases which have no scarring but are thin corneas coming into our OPDs? How do we proceed in that? So do we go ahead and do a standard cross-linking, or do we go ahead and do a keratoplasty? So studies have shown the cytotoxic effects of riboflavin plus a UVA treatment on the endothelial cells at a depth of 400 microns. And on the other hand, transplant, even in the hands of the best skilled surgeons, has the limitation of graft survivability. So what are the other options? Are hypoosmolar riboflavin transepithelial technique, contact lens assisted, lenticule assisted, customized pachymetry guided, and antiphoresis. But all these have their own limitations as unpredictable outcomes or difficult visual rehabilitation. So is there a better way to cross-link the thinner corneas without scarring? So that's when we stumbled upon a paper by Dr. Hafezi, who gave us the sub 400 protocol. So they described the principle of adapted fluence, wherein customized energy is delivered by altering the irradiation time. So a lower dose of UV dose can be administered from the beginning, that is shortening the irradiation time. So what this paper also gave us is they gave us the graphs, which is the stress relaxation curves for different conditions and mathematical formulations. So what we did was wanting to bring it to the clinics easily. So we made our own complex formula, which we fed into a software and developed our own NXT UVA calculator. But leading us to a research question, is there a simpler way to calculate energy titration and time in thin corneas? And the purpose of a study was to evaluate the safety and efficacy of our own calculator. So this is how we designed our own calculator using the same stress relaxation curves and the Lambert-Beer equation. So this process can be tailored based on the corneal thickness to deliver a cross-linking effect with an adequate safety zone. And we developed an experimentally validated numerical algorithm so that accounts for oxygen, riboflavin, UV availability in the stroma during the cross-linking treatment. So this allows us predicting the biomechanical stiffening also after cross-linking. So this is how our calculator looks. It looks like it's changing this thickness, changes the fluence time, and it gives for 0.1% and 0.2% riboflavin. This is what the chart looks like, what we've created with epithelium of thickness corresponding to the fluence time of 3 milliwatts and 9 milliwatts. So with this background, we decided to seek ethics committee approval and started our study on the NXT UVA calculator. So we included 70 eyes of 70 patients with advanced keratoconus, documented progression, corneal thickness less than 400 microns with no scarring. So what did we preoperatively evaluate was the corneal thickness and the documented progression of the patient. Then we did an epithelial mapping on the MS39. We did a specular microscopy to see the preoperative endothelial cell count. Then we put everything into our NXT UVA algorithm and we did the cross-linking of the patient. So for example, if we have a patient with advanced KC with a corneal thickness of 390 microns, we just remove the epithelium, we are left with 340 microns. Very easily, we put it into our smartphones, we're giving a URL code. It gives us 21.95 minutes at 3 milliwatts and 7.3 minutes at 9 milliwatt. You can choose either of them with a 0.1% riboflavin drops. So this is how we can go ahead and do our cross-linking. What we do on follow-up is that we assess the patient's refraction, the topography, the specular count, and the aosicity for the demarcation line. Let's see how our patients fared well. So on the safety profile, coming to the results, there was no significant haze noted either on the pentacam, densitometry map, or clinically at the end of 6 months. Our patients had very good safety. 51% had no loss of lines, 24% gained 1 line, 14% gained 2 lines, and very minimal percentage had a loss of line. On specular counts, no statistical significant change in the specular cell count. So the endothelium was also remaining undamaged. Then we come to the efficacy, which was given by a stable keratometry of K1, K2, and Kmax at the end of 6 months. We had very good demarcation line, and 62% of our patients showed a good demarcation line. These are some of our post-operative outcomes at 6 months with a good flattening and a good refractive change. So we also saw that the post-op 65% had no biomechanical weakening. So the corpus for these patients had no change, while 35 of our patients did have a change for the better. So they were stiffening after the cross-linking. So we further on are in the process to combine two studies, polarization sensitive OCT, which gives us the patients. So what was known is that our calculator is simple and easy to use with good safety and efficacy. So we have generated a QR code for the ease of the clinician. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Moving on, if there are any questions, we have about 2 minutes to take them.
Yeah, I just want to ask you, Ritika, how long your study is, duration of study?
Our study is the longest cohort of follow-up we have is of 2 years. So they are also faring very well with a good flattening, and none of our patients have needed any post-cross-linking transplantation.
Second is the most age groups affected, or you tried in the what age group?
So the younger age group, which was around 18 to 25, so that was our main age group, but we have done for a varied age group of more than 25 years old
And
patients.
where you did not find any improvement according to the age and sex ratio?
So the sex ratio did not make any difference in our study, but age-wise also there was improvement all throughout all the age groups. It's just that the younger patients were flattening a little bit more aggressively, but everybody did fairly well.
Thank you.